All right, so we have major progress on the Nixie clock. Got most of the software written. There's still some things I need to tweak about it, but the main code's there. Does everything that I need it to do. Just need to optimize some things. But basically, what we have here are the a stack of the relays. Hours on top, minutes, then seconds, and so it's hours, minutes, seconds. I'm not showing the colons or the AM, PM. They're disconnected, but this is kind of sketchy setting up here as it is. This is a demo of or breadboard of the controller board, and so the top here is the Arduino real-time clock, which I actually just used to get the 1 hertz when the GPS isn't functional. There's a I2C IO expander that sets your time zone. That's the GPS. The green blinking light means that that's the PPS, and then it's getting a fix every time that red LED goes on. This yellow LED means that the code is doing something of it rather than waiting for a button or time to go by. And that red LED there, that gets lit when the display gets updated through the normal. It's every 5 seconds. So down here is the control panel. I've decided to go the Steve Jobs route and really simplify what the actual control panel looks like, but all these things here are useful for debugging. Not everything will be exposed to the user. So this switch selects between the clock, the crystal in the real-time clock, or the GPS PPS. This allows you to go from set and run and set. These are the sets for seconds, minutes, hours. These are the resets for second, minutes, hours. Behind here is a 12-hour, 24-hour switch. This sets local versus UTC time. This blanks the LCD display. This button resets the CPU. This button does a relay test. This button shows the date. This button shows the time. In the LCD display, what I have here on the top is the time that's in the real-time clock. And it turns out, the GPS unit has its own real-time clock. And once it's seen a satellite, one time, there's a battery in the back. It remembers what the time is approximately, and so I don't actually need the real-time clock function, but I have it here just to compare, where I'm at. This next line shows the time that the clock thinks and wants to display. The L is the local versus UTC. 7 is the offset, so Pacific Daylight Time, we're -7 from UTC. The 1 means that the GPS has a fix. That's why the PPS is going. The 6 is number of satellites, and the G tells us that we're running off the GPS clock, so that of the 2 clock sources, we're running off of that. So where to begin? Let me reboot and reset the system, and the first thing it does is a relay test. And so it'll cycle the relays right up to 12:59:59, and then so you know that they all count. It pauses, and then it gives it some clock cycles so you can see if the carry works. So I'll just hit the reset button, and it boots. It counts up, so you can see that goes to the correct time, and it all carries. So that's the relay test. Once that's done, it shows the time. The first time it gets is garbage. So it says here that the time is resynced. I'm in normal operation, so it's 7:16 and 20 seconds. And that time is a little bit off from what is being shown from the GPS. What I have not done yet in the software is, I grab the GPS time, I set it, but it takes a certain amount of time to actually set that time. In the software, what I'll do is I'll set the time 5 seconds ahead, and then I'll set the time, and then I'll wait to start the clock going once I hit that time. I can change to AM PM, and I can have it reset the time. And so that's in AM PM. I can change. Let me put it back. I can change it to universal coordinated time. So see the U changed, and now it's 2 a.m. October 1st, and maybe I'll have a thing if you change the time. If you change the local versus UTC, it might resync. But I can just hit show time again. And there it goes, where it's 2:17 in the morning. I can show the date, so I hit the date button, and it shows the date, October 1st, 2021. It pauses, and it resets the time. And what it's doing is shown on the bottom. So if I switch it to local time and say show the date, showing date. It's September 30th, pauses, and then it's going to go back to the local time. That's 7:18. The setting of the time zone is going to be thumb switches in the back of the chassis, but but these are the lines that go to that. So I can change the time zone to something else. So if I change it to 6, you see now it's 8 o'clock. So that would be Mountain Time. And if I change it to Central Time, change the offset. There it's 10 o'clock. And if I hit the time button, sorry, 9, yeah, it's 2 hours. And then I can change it to UTC, or actually, sorry, I'm not going to change UTC. I'm going to change it to 24-hour mode. And it's 9 p.m. I don't have the PM showing. And then in the real system, there'll just be a few of these buttons. There'll be 12:24. There'll be UTC or local. There'll be a show date, show time, and a relay test. And the rest of the stuff will be on the PCB. And the display will be on the PCB that's going to sit on top of this. But that light's kind of obnoxious. And so I have this, I can throw the switch and that blanks the display. I can turn it back on. I can, do a relay test. And when it does the relay test running, once it's done, it goes to, supposed to do actually I need to add the software to actually have it set the time. So go set the time. Actually, in the relay, when you do the relay test, you don't want it to set the time because you might want to see it click. Anyway, that's the current status. Seems to be going smoothly. This ribbon jumper here, all the signals, all the logic here is running off the 5.7 volts. The stuff that's running off the Arduino is powered by the voltage regulator on the Arduino, so it makes 5 volts. So everything over here is happy. And then when I was doing my software development, I was just using these two boards, and I was doing a lot of software tests. I could see what was happening here. And then if you look, my LEDs also were helpful, because when I was doing the relay test, I could watch the relay test happen just with those LEDs. I didn't have to have the relay boards hooked up. It's actually the last half hour is the first time I've actually hooked up all these relay boards. So the next step, polish up the code. But the real thing is, now that I have this board, I can actually make the PCB version of that, and then I'll put that on the stack. And there's going to be a USB jumper that goes to the back panel of the chassis, so I can reprogram the Arduino as needed. but the next step is to do the layout of this, build this board. Then once I have that, I can figure out how I'm going to hook up the switches that go to the front panel. Then I can do the layout of the front panel, have the front panel, rear panel fabbed, and then build it. So it's going to be another month probably. Maybe I can get the PCB done by Sunday, maybe. And then once I have that, the next step will be the front panel and the back panel. Do those, and that's it. So I'm, pretty happy about. And set the time again. I'm really happy about the way it's working. It's been solid. Nothing is broken. Knock on whatever. Relay's been solid. I was worried that I hadn't had them powered up in 2 weeks. Maybe something happened to them when they were sitting there. But everything's okay. So let me put the time zone back to Pacific Daylight Time. Sync the time again. And there we go. It's 7:30, and the seconds are off, but I'll fix that. Anyway, it's going smoothly, having tons of fun, a lot of fun. The software, even though I was very skeptical initially when I was discussing the project, the software is actually really fun. Spent a lot of time just figuring out how the GPS system works. Spent a lot of time using Visual Studio Code rather than the Arduino development environment. I'm glad I did. I've gotten through the learning curve on that. The code is way too big to effectively use that development environment. But anyway, it's pretty nifty. It sort of matches my expectations when I was thinking about the project. It's been going on since June. So there you go. Relay Nixie clock, one step closer to completion. Right. Thanks for watching.